Well, I don't really have anything clever or interesting to say today or anything really particularly funny because this is kind of a serious video and I wanted to have a level of cadence and respect for this video, and I feel it would be inappropriate to joke around at this point, but um, yeah, I guess I should get into it before I ramble on for too long. Hello, everyone. Britton here, also known as Samoki Dude, and today I am back with another discussion slash vent slash. I'm just gonna talk to you guys for a little bit, face to face. Well, closest face to face as we'll get on this platform, anyway. Um, I know a lot of people are reeling from last week's events, and I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I did want to talk about something a little adjacent to that. So I hope you guys can put up with me here, and hopefully this will be my only video on the subject. Again, really hoping, praying to God on this one. I don't mean to laugh. This is serious though. Let's get on to the conversation before I start rambling on and making a fool out of myself. So I made a video some months ago about artists disappointing us, and I said, kind of like what I said earlier, I hoped that this would be the first and only time that I would make a video like that on this type of subject, but unfortunately I was mistaken. This video will be kind of a ripoff of John Scalzi's article of the same name, where he talks about what I hope to be talking about today. It's a very good article, and, well, it's about the, gaming thing, but it's not necessarily about BookTube or anything. But I was hoping with this video to take a similar kind of approach that John Scalzi took, with that article. I'll link it down below if anyone, hasn't read it already, and, if you want to give it a shot. Also, I'm saying that so, he doesn't, sue me or any, John Scalzi fans come along saying I ripped him off. I'm acknowledging it here. I am ripping off John Scalzi a bit here. He seems like a cool guy from what I've seen on his internet presence, so, I'm sure he'll be fine with it, but I'm just going to say it right now for the people who might get mad and say I'm ripping off John Scalzi. I'm acknowledging it. I'm ripping off John Scalzi. I'll link the article down below. I am also not really going to talk about the Daniel Green situation too much. There might be some mentions of it in this video. I haven't seen Naomi's videos. I can't now because they're actually gone off the internet, so that's nice. Though I got the gist of what she said from comments and friends of mine telling me about it, and I don't really want to watch somebody break down like that because it's very upsetting for me. And I hate to say it now, but I also learned very recently that the situation that is happening might be even more complex than what we were initially told. So, yeah, it's probably going to get really ugly. Well, even more ugly than it already is, to be honest. I'm not going to touch it. That's for people who are far more foolhardy and far more willing to take on the brunt of criticism than me, because it's just not my place. I'll put it that way. But let me just get to the video at hand. I've been thinking a lot about parasocial relationships recently. I've been thinking a lot about my status as a booktuber. I've talked with a lot of friends of mine about it. I've had conversations with friends, and I've been thinking a lot about my status as a booktuber, which, I don't really think is that big, but, generally, I don't think that my opinion, really matters in the grand scheme of things. I mean, come on. I'm just a kid from Oklahoma making YouTube videos about books and comics and other media that I like. Now, I know that'll probably elicit some eye rolls from people because, there's a lot of booktubers and other YouTubers out there who are very self-deprecating in that way, but that's just how I think of things. But after this Daniel Green debacle and watching a recent video by my friend Raph about how we can't just enjoy stories and we have responsibilities as booktubers to think about art critically, I've been thinking a lot about my status as a booktuber. Now, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I view myself more as a critic than as an actual content creator. I generally want to have and spark conversations about the art that I love, and I take that very seriously as someone who does this quite frequently. But when I watched that video, I realized kind of finally, it kind of clicked in my head that there are people out there who actually listen to me, who actually take what I say seriously, people who actually might look up to me in some way, which I have underestimated in the past. I mean, the other day I had a stream with some friends of mine, and almost 20 people showed up. That's like the most I've had in a stream, before now anyway. Um, but I've realized that there are people out there who take what I say seriously, and there are people out there who might admire what I do here, and that's great. I'm really glad that you've come here to. Before I get into my spiel, I am glad that you enjoy what I do. I do appreciate you all. But I did want to say something to those people as well, just to kind of test some waters a little bit, and also maybe, get some ideas out there. But let me just get to it. I'm starting to ramble a little more. I've always been wary of being false to myself and being false to you guys. I mean, the person that I share on this platform is pretty close to the person I am in real life. I'm generally more introverted in real life than I am on BookTube. It usually takes a couple cuts before I, get going and start talking. I try really hard to show my most authentic self, because that's really what matters to me as someone who makes this content. And I want to present my fullest self as much as possible to you guys, because I want to I want you guys to see that this is who I am as a person, in a lot of ways. Now, if you appreciate my content and what I do, and you actually take what I say seriously, like I said, that's great. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but I really don't want you guys to idolize me or put me on a pedestal, because I've seen that destroy so many people. People who put on theatrics about how virtuous they are, and they preach these grand principles, and they give these people who watch them or consume them or read them. I'm not just talking about booktubers here now, but they give people an idea of who they are, and then it turns out that they're just as flawed, they're just as foible as the rest of us, and can't always live up to their own principles, sometimes in really horrible ways. To keep things simple, I am just a guy. All right? Like, I am a regular, flawed human being who makes mistakes, fails, and I don't always live up to my principles. I've made my fair share of mistakes and bad choices, of course. I have demons, and I try to keep them in check. I don't talk about them because, that's my business. I don't really want to let you guys in on that because, well, like I said, it's my business. I don't want to tell you guys everything, even though I try to let you guys in. I mean, I could be a dickhead. I can make bad judgment calls. I've done things that I regret and can't take back. The whole 9 yards. You get the idea. But I work as hard as I can to make sure I don't repeat those mistakes and bad choices in the future. And I try to not make those things again. I just repeated myself. It's situations like Daniel Green's that are the reason why I don't really share my personal life on YouTube. Not because I'm like hiding anything or anything like that. I mean, I generally think of myself as a transparent individual, but I generally don't want my personal life to be put out there on display for anyone to see, kind of like what's going on right now. Now, I don't mind talking about certain things like where I go to college or where I'm at in the States, because I know there might be some people who will go, but Britton, you've mentioned like where you go to college and where you live and all that. I don't mind talking about that. I just don't really want to share my personal life out there because that's my business. I don't really want anybody to there are some things I'm keeping for myself, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But I don't share my personal life. I don't want to share my personal life because, again, that's between me and, my inner circle, people I know and trust. If I have a girlfriend, I'm not going to show her off or have her appear in my videos. Well, unless she wants to anyway. I want my private life to remain that way. But I'm getting away from the point. I do appreciate you guys supporting me. I do appreciate you guys watching my videos and commenting. That's why I'm here. I want to create a community here on BookTube. But I don't want you guys to think that I'm something that I'm not. Hell, I don't even want any, pat me on the back comments that I've seen on a lot of videos this past couple weeks. Because I just want you all to understand that I am just a person. A lot of us on BookTube are just people, I don't mean to belabor the point, but I just want you all to understand. And I know there's a lot of people being criticized right now, some for very good reasons and some for not very good reasons. Just keep in mind that we are people. We are individuals. We do make mistakes. We're not perfect. Even though we go out of our way to show the best parts of ourselves, if you will. Not to say that anyone is, fake on here. I'm just saying that, there is a very performative aspect to YouTube, of course. That's part of the gig. That's one of the things I like about doing YouTube, but I digress. But I just want you to understand, and kind of echoing a point I heard in a recent video, we are people, and I want to ask you all to show some grace, at least to try to be understanding, to try and empathize with each other. Now, I know a lot of us are going through a lot of heavy emotions right now. I know that I am. But this is the best I can really do for right now. This last week has really had me thinking about a lot of things, and there are some other things I'd like to discuss, but I'll save that for Friday. But at the end of the day, I just want you guys to know, and again, I hate to repeat myself again, but I just want you guys to treat me as a human being, and I think it would be very helpful and healthy to treat other people as human beings, especially us on BookTube, because again, I know we're kind of, not really in a great spot right now. To paraphrase John Scalzi, and to kind of bring this discussion / venting session full circle, putting people on pedestals doesn't really do much good for anyone involved. It gives people a false idea, and inevitably you're left disappointed. That's something I've had to learn over the years, often in very harsh ways, as you've noticed in some of my videos. So, please, treat each other like people, and don't give unrealistic expectations for people, because they usually can't always live up to them in more ways than one. Not to sound pessimistic, that's not to say that I think people aren't capable of learning from bad choices or mistakes, but I guess my point here is that don't put people on pedestals, because again, you'll just be left disappointed for the most part. Unless you're Mr. Rogers, maybe that might be the case, but even Mr. Rogers, I'm sure he wasn't a perfect person, but anyway, I'm rambling again. I feel kind of dirty doing my usual thing I do before the end of a video, so you guys know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe to all that stuff. I feel kind of dirty just saying that right now with a video that's kind of heavy like this. But, yeah, that's really all I have to say for right now. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Well, I don't know if enjoyed's the right word. Hope you guys appreciate this video. And please be kind to each other. because we really need that right now. And it's really all I got to say for now.